Hi, I'm Short. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can transfer your Ford flip key to a brand new casing. Basically, you only need one thing for this, besides of course the casing itself, and that is a flathead screwdriver. We're going to proceed as follows. I'll start with the original one. When we flip out the key blade, we eventually see a small opening here. Insert the screwdriver there, and in one motion separate the two halves of the key. I reach the electronics by then pulling the top and bottom halves apart. Sometimes you can even do this just by wedging your fingers in between a little. In this case, it's a bit more firmly attached. So I just insert a flat screwdriver between the halves, gently pry a little until they come apart. I'll set this aside for a moment. And now I'll do the same with the new key. So here as well. Once again, it goes through the hole and you pry them apart. Insert the screwdriver in between. Pry a little and you have an empty casing. Let's start with the electronics part. That's often the reason people order a new casing, because something is wrong with the electronics. That's why I'm starting with this part. The key blade is of course optional and can be done later, so I'll transfer the battery first. Now I see that the battery holder in the new one was slightly bent, so I just straightened it like this. That's in place. Then I take the electronics and put them into the new key in the same way. We click this together, and at least the electronics part has been transferred. Now that the electronics have been transferred to a nice new casing, you can choose to put this into the original key head so that it's complete again. But you don't have to. And you can also choose to transfer all of this as well. This part takes a bit more effort, so that's why I'm showing that it can be done differently too. But if you also want to transfer the transponder that's inside here and the key blade, I'll show you how to do that now. Again, I place a screwdriver between the key head and the plastic, and I gently pry until the two halves come apart. Sometimes there's some glue used here. In that case, grab a pair of pliers, because pliers often make it a bit easier to separate the two halves. This is what we end up seeing. We want the key blade and its components, and soon we'll want the transponder that's in between here. I'm going to try to take it out right now. I simply do this by placing the screwdriver in a corner and prying it upwards. Keep in mind, sometimes there's a lot of glue in here. In the key I had here, there was also a thin layer of glue. That's why you see that white sheen. Basically, it's just a gray block. And there was a little bit of glue in between, holding it in place. For me, it came loose quite easily. Is it not coming loose easily for you? Please don't use a lot of force on it. If you do, you risk breaking it. So why is this transponder so important? Without the transponder, the car won't start. So it's absolutely essential to transfer the transponder. Otherwise, the key is basically useless. Can't you get them out now? Then you can choose, just like in the first plan, to combine the original key head with the new electronics. Or you can choose to contact us, and then we can see if we can copy the transponder for you and make sure you still end up with a working key that way. I'll set this aside for now, and we don't need this anymore. We'll go through the same steps with a new key head. So here as well, we insert the screwdriver and gently pry it open. So we don't need to use this key blade, and we place the transponder in the compartment that's meant for it. Well, it's a little bit loose now, and that can happen. That's why I like to use Pritt Putty. Those same white sticky pads you use to stick a poster to a window, that's often the easiest way to keep a transponder in place as well. If you don't do that, it's not a big deal, but it might rattle a little inside the casing, and that can be a bit annoying sometimes. Okay, we've got this ready. And then there's one more thing we need to do, which is to get this key blade in and make sure that not only is it set, but that it also flips open automatically when you press a button. The key blade consists of 3 parts. We have the key blade with a flip mechanism attached. We have a small spring, and here we have the button that you press to make it flip open. You might have already noticed, but there are 3 small metal protrusions on this button. And as it happens, those match exactly with the notches we see here in the flip mechanism. So we position it in such a way that all those notches align with the protruding metal pieces. Next, we place the spring in here. By the way, the spring has 2 sides. On one side, there's a small metal tip that sticks out, and on the other side, there isn't. That metal tip needs to be on the top, so we put it in place. I turn it a bit. And on that key head, you can see a small black pin sticking up, and we place the spring around it. So the spring goes around that part, and then while pressing the flip mechanism down, we can tension it by making a turn. Do this very carefully, and once you've made that turn, you'll notice that it actually wants to spring loose on its own. So hold it firmly. While you're holding it, you can also put the other side of the key head on, and now you'll see that it can flip open every time you press the button. Optionally, you can place a drop of glue between the edges, but it's not necessary. Finally, take the 2 halves, hold them firmly, and snap them back together. And there you have it. You have a fully functional car key again. Hopefully, everything went well with transferring your key housing. If you didn't quite manage, you'll find our contact information in the description below this video, or you can leave a comment under this video, and I'll be happy to help you further. Success